For sure. So what drives the profitability on a rides basis? Is it the utilization of your drivers, or is there another metric that you're looking at?
Well, yeah, it's really, I mean, drivers make up the largest cost in our entire kind of buckets
Hmm.
of costs. A lot of people focus on the cars because when a personal vehicle, it's one of the most expensive expenses you have. But
Hmm.
um, we're able to utilize our vehicles much more efficiently. One, we can acquire them at a discount. We can manage them efficiently with uh, scaled insurance and fuel contracts and maintenance
Hmm.
contracts. But we also, multiple drivers use our car each day.
Yeah.
A driver comes and picks it up, and then uh, when they're done with their shift, they drop it back off, and we turn it back over. We keep it clean, we refuel it, we maintain it, and then give it to another driver. So the cars are really not the thing we pay the most attention to. What we pay the most attention to is our drivers. We pay them by the hour.
Mm.
We try to compensate them very competitively and in a compelling way. We provide health benefits, dental, vision, 401k with a generous match. So for all those reasons, the cost for us to put that driver out on the road is really what we focus on. And so the time that they spend with a passenger is kind of the metric that we look at the most. We call that occupancy, the
Gotcha.
percentage of the time that we're paying a driver, that they have a passenger with them. And that ultimately drives fundamentally the kind of profitability and the performance of the business.
Hmm.
What because we have this different model, what we found is that it's also gives a lot of control, a lot of differentiation for passengers. You mentioned you've been riding a lot, so I'd love to hear your feedback. But it
Oh,
means
don't
that we're
worry,
able
it's
to charge a
coming.
bit. We've been able to charge a little bit more too,
Yeah.
and so by achieving those higher average fares, it also allows us. That means when we drive those higher occupancy levels, we ultimately generate a higher degree of gross margin, and then that helps us create true cash flow margins in our markets as
Got
well.
it. Cool. Appreciate that explanation for a finance noob like myself. What kind of, you mentioned drivers. Let's stick on that point for a bit. What kind of drivers are you attracting and where are you finding them from too? Because obviously everyone's complaining about a labor shortage. I just worked with a car wash guy right now, and he literally came over and talked to me all about his issues with finding people. So I'd love to know what your experience has been like there.
Yeah, it's been a super tight labor market, and I mean, quite frankly, been increasing our driver pay pretty substantially over the past several months in order to
So this
ensure
would
that
just
we
be
can
paying a higher hourly rate.
paying a higher hourly rate. And we've done two things. One is that we're paying more overall, and the second is that we've created a little bit more dynamicism, I would call it, in our pay. We rolled out a new driver plan just a couple of weeks ago. We call it Prime Pay, and what it
Mhm.
does is it compensates drivers that work in the busiest hours of the day or the night even more during those hours. And so in a city like LA, we now have drivers during our busiest periods that can make $27, $29 an hour, again,
Mhm.
with no expenses.
Right.
And so what that's able to do, what that's been able to do for us is ensure that we're attracting potentially part-time people that are just looking to work a few hours a week, but that want to use that money to supplement another income, or they're going to school. And so we've really increased our part-time driver base
Mm.
rather significantly in the last few months, which has been hard to do through the pandemic, given most people were either out of the labor force entirely or looking for a full-time job. But that mix has
Mm.
now improved, and that definitely helps us kind of balance supply and demand in a better way. And in addition to that, I would say we continue to see a really nice, I would say, balance of recruiting. About half of our drivers in California, for example, are former Uber or Lyft drivers, and the other half
Mhm.
actually have never driven before. They
Interesting.
traditionally come from other, hospitality backgrounds. We get everybody from retail workers, waiters and waitresses, folks that have worked a front desk job or a
Mhm.
concierge at a hotel. These are folks that typically really value the kind of tenets of employment. They like having a
Yeah.
schedule. They like kind of the predictability of being an employee. And the protections that it provides, and so they haven't really ever kind of gotten into the gig economy, and
Mm.
we like that balance as well because we can use their hospitality skill sets to ensure that
Yeah.
we're driving a really great customer experience for
Yeah.
our passengers.
That's interesting. I never thought of that latter aspect because obviously, kind of stealing from the gig economy, right? Like there are a bunch of drivers out there, as you know, who, have their various complaints with Uber and Lyft, whether they feel like they should be paid like an employee or maybe they just don't feel valued. I think in another way, it's, if you want to graduate from driving for Uber and Lyft, Alto is a great option for someone like that. But like you hit the nail on the head. There's a whole bunch of other people out there in retail, in service who probably have never considered driving for Uber or Lyft or working in the gig economy because it's like, oh, you're independent. And they might see all the negative side of it and not really be attracted to that. But you can kind of go after those drivers, whereas Uber, really can't. So I guess I like that angle because I'm never in love with the idea of like competing with Uber or some of these big gig economy companies over the same workers. And I think that's why you have so many companies struggling with acquisition and on the supply side right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point, right? Is that ultimately, I tell investors a lot of times, I mean, the magic of Uber and what they did is they built
Mm,
this, very variable, marginal cost basis of a workforce that they, don't underwrite or don't pay for when
hmm
they're not using it. And that's, from an economic standpoint, been very valuable to them.
yeah,
When they don't have rides going through a pandemic or something like that, they don't also have costs associated with it. The downside is that they, in many ways, kind of built their competitors, right?
hmm
Because they invested in building this supply base that isn't in any way committed,
right.
and that can be just can move between apps very easily anytime they're
Yeah.
on the road. And so you're constantly competing for their kind of like share of time, share
Yeah.
of app time, basically, or
Yeah.
road time.
I like to say
And
there's not a lot of loyalty on either side of the
yeah,
equation.
exactly. Yeah, in the same way that consumers are checking price on both apps. And so really what we're trying to do is solve that problem, right? I mean, I
Mhm.
think that's right. We don't see ourselves as necessarily competing for that same workforce. Obviously, we know that some, we get drivers from there, but we're competing, equally with frankly Amazon and
Mhm.
Walmart and
Yeah.
Starbucks, and we think that
Yeah.
that workforce is also massive,
Yeah.
and
I'd
it's
actually,
one
yeah, I
that
feel
we
like
can
you're right. I feel
play
like those
compelling for.
types of, more part-time employee to full-time employee jobs are probably more who you're competing with than Uber and Lyft, huh? Because I mean, it's kind of like an obvious choice, actually. If you're someone looking at Uber or Lyft or Alto, right? If you kind of value more the predictability and the hourly pay, right? Like obviously Alto is kind of the option in that scenario. So very interesting stuff. Obviously I think that, right now I feel like in this moment in time, there isn't this huge W-2 versus employee or W-2 versus independent contractor debate, but I know things are brewing. So I imagine too, that'll be another good opportunity for you guys to kind of lean into in the future. But